So another month passed by, and it's clear we reached a peak in sales way back in the summer. The reason isn't because buyers aren't wanting to buy. Actually, it's the exact opposite. They want to buy, but there's just not enough homes out there to sell them. Hi, this is John James with the James team at RE/MAX Partners, and we've reached November 2021. I'm back inside. And, that means we can now look back at October. And hopefully by looking back, it'll give us a glimpse at how to move forward. We'll start the month, as always, by reviewing the overall market, and then we'll move into different segments of Steamboat real estate. And starting off, the median sales price for Routt County has reached $635,000, which is 12% over last year's $565,000 and 30% over what we saw in 2019. Interestingly enough, it is equal to the price we saw in September. And that's not really uncommon to see. In the COVID real estate boom, which started in June of last year, we've seen the price plateau over a few months and even drop slightly month over month, only to jump up again. Number of sales, they're up 14% over October 2020. And the 1,235 units we sold last month contrasts to the 1,087 we saw in October of last year. The difference is the sales were increasing last year month over month, where they have been decreasing since June of this summer. And I expect that decline to level off once we get to around 1,100 units a month. And total dollar volume for Routt County in October reached $1,179,064,531. That's 34.5% over and almost $877 million last year. And while this also peaked in July after a 12-month run-up, we still have had over $1 billion for 8 months. Whether we stay over that mark, I believe, is solely dependent on whether we have the homes to sell. Spoiler alert, we don't. And looking at inventory, that's looking increasingly less likely. First off, the demand is still there. Buyers, they've not let off the brakes when it comes to buying. Days on market has now dropped to 8 days for all of Routt County compared to 35 last year. That's a 77% decrease. And once I start breaking down the different segments, you'll see some of those segments are going to be even lower to offset the other segments, which are traditionally higher. And the total supply of homes would sell in 51 days or 1.7 months. Last year, we were in a seller's market as well, but we still had a supply that would last us 5.3 months. Our rolling average of active listings is down 55% from 421 listings last year to 190 now. So we need a substantial increase in new listings to help fill in the gap. And that's just not happening. We're 7% off where we were last year for new listings. And more importantly, we're 8% off where we were just in September. So unless we start to see a whole bunch of homes come on the market here in November and December, I'm convinced we will drop down below that $1 billion in total dollar volume by the start of the new year. The median sales to list price ratio is right at 100%, meaning list and sales prices are equal. That's 2.2 points over last October, but the same as just last September. And you might be thinking, well, would the stats show the ratio at over 100%? We haven't seen that so far. The answer to that is yes, and we will see that in at least one segment of the market coming up in a future update. And over 100% would mean that more homes are going for over list price than below list. It goes back to demand. Price per square foot continues to increase. It's now $456, which is 26% above where things were last year. And you'd have to go back to September of 2019 to see a price per square foot less than the previous month. So this stat is good primarily for year-over-year changes. Price reductions, which are one of my favorite indicators, are up from last year. We saw 56 reductions compared to 44 last October. That's a 21% increase. Now, it is down from the 62 in September. However, that was an outlier month, which saw a big spike in reductions. 56 is back kind of in the trend line we've been seeing since April. And can see into the crystal ball for November? You can if you're looking at pending listings. Those are down 0.5 point to 1178 from last year's 1184. But remember, now back in the spring, I was saying that pendings were way up because contracts were taking longer. Well, that's back when we peaked at 1464 pendings in May. We have come off quite a bit, and that is the first year-over-year drop in listings we have seen since June of 2020, right as we were coming out of lockdown. Pendings are a precursor to sales, so I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that the number of sales for November will be lower than last year based on this. So there we have it. Overview of the entire Routt County real estate market for October. Price, type, and area segments to come after this. If you want to discuss or even just call me out on my prediction, give me a call at 970-846-0797 or email me at johnjames@jamesteamsteamboat.com. Like or comment in the video as well. I'll see you next for the low end of the market update. Until then, take care.